time talking about one of the realities that we all face in our profession, in our society, and in our service work, and that is the interesting challenge that comes with computers. And hopefully this will work. The interesting challenge that comes from 4 generations working together. I wonder how many of us, at least in a weaker moment, have expressed, voiced some kind of frustration about that other generation. I work for Intermountain Healthcare. We have about 36,000 employees. About 10,000 of those employees are baby boomers. About 14,000 are millennials, or Generation Y. And I spend a lot of my time hearing from, talking with leaders who are older generation leaders who are frustrated at this younger generation employee who doesn't have good work ethic or is not loyal. And a lot of my time with younger generation leaders, millennial leaders, who are frustrated with older generation employees who don't change or are slow learning. Or younger physicians who are frustrated at their older nurses who are stuck in the old ways. And young Generation X physicians who are frustrated by young administrators who aren't flexible and respectful. It's a mad world. There's computers pointing in every direction, and it's really interesting. And so it's been a fun area of study the last little while to try to support the organization and support all of us in appreciating, understanding these generations. I really appreciate a few months ago, there was an article in Forbes, and I've used it a lot, an article called Leaders Need to Bridge the Generation Gap. There's always been tension between the generations, especially in the workplace. Remember when people who lived through the Second War were scorned on the baby boomers and their ideology and self-absorption, or when Gen Xers were castigated for their lack of loyalty and belief that they did have it all. Now it's the millennials' turn to be the whipping boys and girls. Their attitudes are in sharp contrast with those of the boomers who are increasingly running the organizations where they work. While boomers believe strongly in the value of experience working your way up, millennials are seen as being entitled and overpampered by their parents. There are lots of ways of analyzing patterns, looking at patterns of behavior, but we want to be careful that we don't get too drawn into or too aligned, too rigid in any particular perspective, generalization, stereotype. But it's an interesting perspective. It sheds a little bit of light. So we're going to talk. I don't have this image on my computer, so I apologize for you. You'll have to look at this side of this bulkhead. We're going to talk about these 4 generations for these few minutes. Traditionalists, maybe sitting here are traditionalists, 70 or older, born in 1945, 34, and the baby boomers, a large portion of the workforce. Generation X, born 65 to 80, and then millennials, which is the most recent demographic to come into the workplace. We're going to talk about these 4, but rather than just me talking about them, and this gets to the request for those of you that have a smartphone or a smart device, like to find out what we already know. So just for a few minutes, we're going to do this diagnostic of our demographic deafness. And this will involve your colleagues at your given. This is a competition. I don't have prizes other than bragging rights. But this is a team effort or a table effort, and so your table colleagues are your team.